Hey, this is Steve Keys here with Keller Williams Capital District in upstate New York. Today we are going to do a walkthrough video of adding content to your Keller Williams agent website through the usage of a third-party widget. Now, a widget is basically a very small computer program that serves some kind of purpose. It does something um, that you're actually going to put it on your website. Now, if you've walked through the website design program before, you'll see that there is a box on there called widgets. KW does provide some widgets for their website, and they do certain things. Those are not the widgets that I'm talking about, although we do need to use those. But these are going to be widgets that are provided by a third-party service, and how you would install those onto your website. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're on the dashboard now. In the bottom left, we're going to click on Consumer, and that is going to bring us to where we access our agent site. We are going to go to the top right, click Create a New Site. We want this to be on our agent site, and then Create Page. And that brings us to this portion here. First thing you want to do is name your site. Do this first so that you don't forget it later, because later on in the process, if you don't name this, and if you don't name a lot of these, if you add several sites, you'll see when we get to it later, but you're going to have to pick this out of a list. And if all of these are called new agent site and then a 5-digit code of gobbledygook, you're not going to have any idea what you're doing. So rename it first. So Homekeeper is one of the services that we have as Keller Williams agents. I actually already have this on my page, but they've changed some things to the website and now it doesn't look right. So I'm going to reset it up. So this is the Homekeeper block. Now, in order to add a page to your website, you have to use, over here on the right hand side, you have these widgets that I was talking about earlier. These are provided by the company. A couple of these are just layouts. They don't really do anything. They're just an automatic layout for you to drag over, and it's automatically going to look this way, so you don't have to create the layout yourself. Some of them do things like the contact form, testimonial capture form, download your app. Some of them do things, but a lot of them are just layouts. You have to use one of these in order to activate your site. If you just use content blocks and you got these images and dividers and links and text sections and stuff, and you design this whole thing, but you don't have one of these KW widgets on the page, it won't let you. The save changes up here will not light up. It won't light up. So you have to add one of these widgets. Now, which widget you're going to use will depend on the content that you are putting on the page. So if we're using these third-party widgets, well, what is the widget going to look like? How big is it? How do you want it to look? This blog that we're going to install is big. It will take up the entire page. Really what it is, it's ripping the page off of Homekeeper, and it's just going to display it on your website. So you're basically just displaying their page on your website, so you're not redirecting consumers to their website. So I'm going to design this in a way that looks big. So I need to use one of these widgets. Now I'll just show you my website so you can see. So here's the Homekeeper blog that I already had on it. So you can see here it's taken up the full page, full width of it, and here are a whole bunch of blogs that Homekeeper on there. You can load more. And this is the widget. I used the Contact Me widget that command has. So contact form, that was the widget that I had been using. And then as we scroll down, they changed this. Now by default at the bottom of every page they put this contact form. So I've got this contact form and then the contact form that I put in there in a widget. So I got double contact forms. And obviously that looks stupid. So I'm going to change that. So now that they've released the consumer app, you can put this download my app widget on there, which will look like this. And I just put it at the bottom of every page. Just say, hey Steve, isn't that kind of annoying? Well, I mean, I guess if they're going to look at every page, but I mean, that contact form is at the bottom of every page, so honestly, what difference does it make? So this is the widget that I am going to use. Now, in order to install the Homekeeper widget on the page, I need a place to put, I'm going to be copying code onto this page, computer code. In order to do that, I need to have a text box in order to do it. So I'm going to put this text box in here. This is this insert your text here is not like one of those, it displays the text and when you click on it, it goes away. No, those letters are actually there. So make sure you delete those before you paste the new stuff on there. Otherwise, you're going to have your Homekeeper blog, and at the bottom, it's going to say insert your text here. So delete that. Now, for this some of these widgets are set up to be smart enough to do this, but not all of them are. So what I would suggest you do is you go to this paintbrush right here. You want to make sure that your widget is centered in the spot that you're using it. So you want to go to this paintbrush right here. And to center things, you go to typography. And you click that drop down arrow. Your text align is going to be your left to right center. So I'm going to make sure that that is centered left to right. Your vertical align is right here. So right now it's on baseline, top, middle, bottom. This doesn't matter. I just want it centered left to right. It's going to center itself vertically, although I guess depending on how, I mean it should, right now you can see right here I've got ½ an inch of space. So if you insert anything that's more than ½ an inch tall, it's going to expand itself to whatever size it needs. So this vertical line probably isn't crucial in that aspect. It's really just more the line height that you want to make sure. So I don't see it. Oh, there it is. All right. So there's my text cursor. I just want to make sure I had it. So I'm going to Homekeeper. It's my Homekeeper dashboard. I signed in. Once it goes to your dashboard, it has this part right here, My Widgets. Click Embed Widget. And it's got the two widgets here. So the My Trusted Pros widget and the My Blog widget. So the blog widget is the one that we're going to use. So this is the widget that we're going to use for our websites. Right now it's just got Market Leader and Placer right now. But this is the one that we want. So we're going to highlight this or just hit copy code, whichever. I guess I could have just done that. Alright, I'm assuming it's copied even though it's not telling me. So then I go back here and then I paste it in. Now once I paste it in, this is text. So if I just leave it like that, it's gonna post that code on my website. It's not actually gonna do anything. So once this is in, you're gonna click it 3 times. Boom. And then it expands to what it needs to be. And this looks a little different from how it was before. It's giving me a certain height scrolling within it, so I'm actually not sure if this is going to come out right, but so we got that in there. Then we're going to go down here to the bottom right, although I guess we don't need to because this is already lit up, but that might not always work. So we want to do configure widget, click the widget. We only have to download the KW app. If you want to change any of this text, this is the spot where you want to do it. Save and apply. And then we're going to save changes. And so now we have created that page. So here's the page that we created, Homekeeper blog, and I labeled it the same as one of my other pages. So that was fantastic. You see right here the eyeball is grayed out. So we need to activate this page. And I'm going to do another video that is going to go through all this. So I'm just going to rip through this real quick because it's going to be someplace else that's going to go through all of that. So These will be dated though, so if you know what date, so this is the list that I was talking about where you'd have to select it from this list. So if they were all labeled the same thing, you'd have no idea what you were doing, unless the dates were far enough apart that you knew which one it was. So we're going to activate that, select the page, save changes. Now we can go back to agent site pages and we can look at what we created. Yeah, this is what I thought it was going to do. So it did. It's a little different from what this was before. I can change how this wants to be. Once you know what you're doing a little bit with the code, you can play around with it. So that's my old one. I'm going to delete that so that I don't have to keep getting that confused. So we're going to do this again. Create site. This time I'm going to rename it so I know which one it is. Drag the widget. Once you do this enough, this is real quick. You'll see that I'm going to rip through this. Copy code. All right, now once you do this enough, you'll kind of understand what this code means. So we've got this code here, and as we're reading through this, so you can see this is the source. So that's the website it's actually sharing. It's saying width is 100%. And then we get to right here, and this is height. So we can change this height. This is something that you can play around with until you can just see how it looks. So I'm going to go 100%. I'm not sure what this one is, but I'm going to change that to 100% too. And then click 3 times and see what happens. Alright, so you can see now that this box, you see how they're scrolling together? This isn't scrolling. Before, this was scrolling separately. It's not. Now it's all scrolling together. So this was, well, actually it is still scrolling, but it's still taller a little bit. It's at least as tall as it is wide. So it's more than it was before. I didn't like it when it was scrolling inside. I could play with this a little bit more and make it taller if I really wanted to, but that's good enough for me. So I'll hit save changes. I know I didn't configure the applet, but it doesn't seem like it really needs to. Go back to site app settings, turn the page on, select Homekeeper block 2, continue, save changes. I'm going to close my old sites since they're using the old information. And then now that this is on, I'll turn this one on. We'll see how it looks. Alright, so you can see this is taller. I can't exactly tell how tall it is, but I know it's tall enough that it's taken up my full screen. Last time it wasn't do that. I could see the bottom of this as I was scrolling through this little box. So I've at least changed it enough that it looks like it's just the 100% gave me the full size of my screen. So when a person scrolls down, they won't necessarily see it, but so that's all that'll get. So that was installing that widget. That's just an example. So like I said, this has another widget, iframe. This one allows you to do the trusted pros. So that's all the same thing. There are tons of widgets, and they all work the same thing. When you use widgets, it gives you a code. So I didn't open this page already, but if I go to this is the website they gave me, the mortgage calculator. You can see right here, widgets. It's got sidebar calculators. The full page calc, that was the calculator that I have on that page. And then it's got the rate tables down here. So you can see here are the codes. So it gives you all of the codes. So when you're using third-party widgets, all you're doing is copying the code and pasting it on your page. Now you can, like I did, I tweaked the height of that Homekeeper widget. When you're comfortable with these enough and you know what they do, you can tweak them a little bit if you want to change. Really, it's just sizing. Or if you wanted to add some kind of border or anything like that, there are ways for you to tweak it a little bit. Not much. You don't want to change it a whole lot, otherwise the widget won't work right. But you can do that. So those widgets are all the same. YouTube videos. YouTube videos have their own widgets. So you can do that. So here's a video that I did on YouTube. Just gonna pause that. So if you have YouTube videos and stuff, you can go to the video where it actually is on YouTube and then go to the share button. And then you'll see all these. And you know what? The one that you've probably ignored forever is embed. So you hit embed and here you go. It gives you the code. So you just copy it, you paste it onto your page, and it'll turn the window and it'll turn the videos on. So I have some videos on here. That's what I did. This is once this loads. Yeah, so you can see I've embedded videos on this page. This is a more advanced page. It does a lot of other things, but that code that I just copied, this is how I get these videos on here. So all of that. Google Forms. You can embed Google Forms on here. So adding content with third-party widgets, it's very easy. All you have to do is find the code. As soon as you find the code, you copy the code, you paste it somewhere in a text block on your website, and that is how that will show up. So that was adding third-party content to your website using widgets. Please like the video if you liked it. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at Steve Keyes, Keyes, at kw.com. And look for my some next videos on the website. I'll be doing a little bit more advanced pages on actually writing, adding some content that requires a little bit of writing the code, creating the code to do different kind of content. So thanks for watching, and that's all for now.